locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves wrestling.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hello, fight fans, unless you've been living under a rock. This is your favorite announcer from the Deep South, Bill Hazelwood, here to talk to you again about the next chapter of the Roughest and Toughest Brawl, coming to you live from Duke's Loves Wrestling. And I want to add also other forms of combat sports on Spotify and all the great feed areas. I want to thank him from the bottom of our heart for bringing this old washed-up, loudmouth announcer back on again. Talk to me, Duke.
Brothers and sisters, you asked for it, and of course, you know here on Duke Loves Wrestling, we have to deliver. So the man, the myth, the legend himself, my brother, Bill Hazelwood, is back to share all the great information about the latest Tough Man card with the Roughest Toughest Brawl. So without further ado, Bill Hazelwood, welcome back to Duke Loves Wrestling. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing well. I've been doing really well. As I always say, any better and I'd have to be twins. So I want to thank you again for bringing me on. I know you got superstars lined up waiting to come on your show, and you made a little elbow room for this old washed-up announcer to come back one more time and talk about what he does.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you, my lady really gets a kick out of you. And in fact, I remember one time I played a voicemail you left me, and she was like, oh, you better call him back. You better have him on the show. So she's asking, hey, when are you going to have that Bill Hazelwood back? So I got to bring you on, man. You're a hit with the ladies here.
Maybe that's the old 40 years ago ladies man of Bill coming out because, I used to have some game. I used to have some game, and I used to joke with these young kids nowadays. And I said, look, man, we didn't have a home phone till I was 15. Cell phones didn't exist. I couldn't afford a beeper. We didn't have any internet. All I had was that pretty smile, that pretty face, and a full head of hair. I said, loaded with everything you guys got today, if I was in the game, I'd take every woman y'all got. So,
well, you get all of those and then some. Bill Hazelwood with that silver tongue and golden voice. Give me a break here. But listen, man, I'll tell you, there was a time where you could turn on the TV or the radio and you would hear pitchmen. And it didn't matter what they were pitching. It didn't matter if they were talking about the latest burger joint or the vacuum cleaner or the circus or, monster trucks, whatever. You had people who understood the art of the pitch. And they got you excited. They got you interested. They made you want to go out and spend money for an entertaining time. So, unfortunately, we've lost a lot of that art. You don't hear too many people who are so good at pitching and generating that type of excitement. So when you hear somebody who's like a throwback, like a Bill Hazelwood, people definitely take notice, brother. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you coming on the show and providing some information about the Roughest, Toughest Brawl and, shooting the breeze. It's always a good time, man, because you are an excellent pitchman and a throwback to the good old days of pitchmen.
I appreciate you, man. I'm old enough to remember there was a commercial on a long time ago. It was on the radio. And it did a bunch of jingles and other stuff, and it painted this picture, and it did that, and all that. Said, now imagine that you just saw it on the radio, and it got real quiet and said, guess what? You did. Even though you heard it, they painted that beautiful picture for you, so I came from that era of describing that to people. So anyway, but, the Roughest and Toughest Brawl, man, we've kicked into overdrive over our last couple shows. We were in Gadsden, Alabama. And they did a great job for us. But, the next show after that was Waynesville, North Carolina. We discussed that on our last show. And I want to put those people over, so to speak, because that's the area of Western North Carolina that got blown off the map from this Hurricane Helene or whatever it was. And I was kind of worried, on off the record kind of basis that we'd have a small crowd, but brother, I could not have been more wrong. It was standing room only both nights. And I tell people, man, the people of Waynesville showed up and the fighters showed out. So I think we got there at the right time when those people were needing what I always refer to an escape from reality for a few hours for a couple of days. We did not disappoint. Well, the fighters didn't disappoint. You know, I always do what I do, but the fighters did not disappoint. So Waynesville, North Carolina, man, it was just a feeling of appreciation of those people showing up, and push come to shove, I'd have done that show for nothing. I mean, it was unreal. That area of the country was decimated. Swansea, people are still living in tents. That's less than 30 minutes from where we ran the show. But they came out in droves. And one of the cool things was a single mother won our 50-50 drawing on Friday night, won $1,070. And then a little senior citizen guy on Saturday night won $1,450 in cold hard cash. You know, that's part of my thing. I always like the 50-50 drawing. I like to give back to the fans. But, you know, the roughest and toughest brawl, man, we are hitting on all cylinders. And Duke, I know a lot of it's because of you and your listeners and, you know, the little bit we do and the things that we've done that's successful for 18 years. So we got two big shows coming up. Our next one is in the Cabarrus Arena, which is on the east side of Charlotte. That's the Monroe, Concord, Albemarle, North Carolina area. That's February the 21st and 22nd. And I like to refer to it as our anchor show. We've been doing that for 16 consecutive years, and the Cabarrus Arena gives us everything that we need tool-wise to give the fans the best experience possible. We can park thousands of cars, seat thousands of people. But Duke, like you and I discussed, they've got an area that we set up what's called the ultimate VIP experience, which gives us the square footage to do something very unique. And last year we had 60 VIP tables. And the way that works is, I'll give you an example. Our front row seating is a bargain at $50 a night because we have 30 to 40 fights per night. If you do the math, that ends up being about $1.25 a fight. The joke is you can't get in your car and go down and watch two kids fight over a bag of marbles in the Walmart parking lot for $1.25. So $50 a night, which is $100. So if you and 7 of your friends want the ultimate experience, it works out to $125 for both nights, which is $12.50 more per night. And Duke, are you ready for this? They get all the food and all the adult beverages they want to drink for both nights. That table's $1,000 for 8 people. You divide that by 8, that's $125. You divide that by 2 nights, that's $62.50. So that's $12.50 more per night to get all the alcohol and all the food you can eat and set in an exclusive VIP area. So that's something you and I always talked about. I like giving the fans more than their money's worth. The Cabarrus Arena enables us to do that because of the square footage that they have. And then also, even if you're in a general admission area or the ringside area, you can still buy adult beverages. They have a full bar and an amazing concession stand. And, of course, our front man, the one and only, the king of the 4-rounders, Butterbean, he's there from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. He signs pictures, takes pictures, signs autographs. He has belts, gloves, everything. And like you and I have discussed before, man, I've worked with a lot of superstars, a lot of guys that are famous. And in most instances, you know, most of them are super friendly or whatever, but Butterbean does not act as famous as he is. He is so approachable and so friendly to these fans. A couple of shows ago, I looked up. His wife, Libby, was there with him. Of course, they brought their grandkids. So the grandkids were hanging around the table while he was taking pictures with fans and signing autographs. So it's just an amazing, amazing experience. And I always say the roughest and toughest brawl can't be explained, only experienced.
Bill, I'm completely blown away by this deal because let me see if I have this right. You're saying $125 gets you admission, got your table, all you can eat and all you can drink, and that includes adult beverages and soft drinks. $125 for both nights. I got that right?
No, I don't want to mean any misunderstanding. It's a table of 8. So it could be you and 7 of your friends, you and 7 of your coworkers. If you own a business, you and 7 of your employees, you can write it up on your taxes. Or you and 7 people that you get together online and go, hey, man, let's get a VIP table. So the table's $1,000 that's for both nights. You do the math. That's $125 a person for both nights. And if you do the math even further, that's $12.50 extra versus a ringside seat, and you get all the alcohol and all the food. Nobody, what I've noticed, I've been to UFC fights, I've been to big boxing events that I wasn't part of. The box seats or the reserved areas are usually 5 or 6 times more than the ringside seating or the general admission. You pay that premium for that experience. We go just the opposite. You know, nobody in town on any level, on any form of entertainment is going to beat that.
Brother, you could have Barry Bonds holding the biggest stick he could find, and he couldn't beat that. I'll tell you right now, that is just incredible deal. All of that wonderful entertainment, and you get to eat and drink on top of that. And you bring 7 of your favorite friends, loved ones, whoever, you know, your neighbor down the street. Bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring somebody. Get it on this deal, yeah. I love it, man. This is really, really good. It's a steal, quite frankly, Bill. You guys are giving everything away.
That's it. But wait, there's more.
Okay. What do we got now?
There you go. That's our anchor show that we call it. Again, that's at the Cabarrus Arena. That's coming up February 21st and 22nd. And you can go to theroughestandtoughestbrawl.com for all the details. We have a very few limited amount of VIP tables left. I'll even go this far. They can reach out to me at billhazelwood86@gmail.com if they want a table, and I'll let them know if any more is available. But coming up after that, just 2 weeks away, is what I call our convenience show. It's in beautiful Pickens, South Carolina. And for those who aren't familiar with the upstate, go, where? But we did the due diligence. We went there last year. I had to kind of convince my promoter, you know, about Pickens because I live in the upstate. Pickens, South Carolina has 1.3 million people within 30 minutes of the market at the mill where we're running that show. That's going to be Friday, March the 7th and Saturday, March the 8th. It's straight down Highway 183 out of Greenville, 24 minutes. It dead ends into the market at the mill. We're 22 minutes from Clemson, South Carolina, you know, the home of the great Tigers. We're 15 minutes from the next town over of about 50,000 people of Easley, and about 25 minutes from Anderson, where another 100,000 people, and we're about 20 minutes from the foothills of North Carolina. So it's just convenient to everyone. Great parking, great food, great alcohol. Unfortunately, the venue is not big enough for us to set up that private VIP area. That's the only drawback. But last year, over the 2 days, we drew 3,500 fans who just blew it away, man. I had to say very little on the microphone because the fighters showed up and did what they do. And, you know, I want to focus for a minute again, Duke, on the fighters, because for those of you that's never been to the Tough Man, it's the local guys. Guy cuts your grass, guy bags your groceries, guy you went to school with. They think they've got what it takes. And if they come in and pass a physical, pass a breathalyzer, because we don't want anybody doing anything stupid, they get paired up into 3 weight divisions. Buddy, we put big headgear on them and 16-ounce gloves. We got a doctor at ringside, 3 ringside judges. It's ran by the athletic commissioner of the boxing authority, and we let them live out that dream. And circling back to Waynesville for a second, there's guys up there that I've seen for 6 or 7 years who've never won the event, but they come back every year just to prove how tough they are. So that's our second big show, March the 7th and 8th in Pickens, South Carolina. You can go to theroughestandtoughestbrawl.com and buy tickets or sign up to fight. And there is a limited amount, Duke, of fighters we will accept per town simply because of time restraints. Because it's 3 1-minute rounds followed by a minute rest period, and then you got to get fighters ready and stuff. So we cut it off at between 80 and 90 fighters per town, so we can have 35 to 45 fights per night. So, we don't want anybody hanging out there till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. We start at 8 o'clock. We like to get finished about 11:30 or midnight. Just like a good, long, fun night out for the family.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. I mean, who doesn't want to officially see someone from the neighborhood be crowned the roughest and the toughest? We all think we know who the toughest person in the town, in the city, in the state is, but events like this truly prove it once and for all. So you guys have a winning formula there, and I tip my hat to you, brother. You figured something out that is absolutely what the fans want, and you keep giving it to them. I love it.
I challenge anybody to go to any event anywhere in any town, whether it be pro wrestling, cage fighting, a concert, which there's some great entertainment out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not dogging any other forms of entertainment. Okay? But for what we do and for what we give them, nobody can compete with what we charge. There is nothing can do what we do because we've just got it down to a science. We're not greedy. We get sponsorships, but one thing we've never done is we've never given into the, what I call the, machine. We use no national advertising at all. We don't use Coca-Cola or any of the beer companies or anything like that. They will write checks for $15,000 or $20,000 like they're nothing. And to them, it is nothing. All of our sponsors are local car dealerships, attorneys, tattoo shops and things like that. And we put them on all of our social media sites. I talk about them constantly on the microphone. They can put up banners. They can get a table and give out their items for branding and all that stuff. And they can reach out to me again at billhazelwood86@gmail.com if they want to do a sponsorship or something like that, because I always tell everybody on the microphone that night, how do you keep a local economy strong is you keep the money local. And it has always seemed to work out for us. We are beyond blessed. I think this year we've kicked it into another gear, and these first few shows have proven that.
Proven indeed. I mean, like I said, man, you're giving the people exactly what they want.
They want their value for their money. And I wanted to mention to people, March the 7th and 8th in the upstate of South Carolina, there at the market at the mill. Butterbean will be there as well. He's our partner. He's at every show, taking pictures with fans, and I always joke, he was at the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. And my promoter was there with him and said security had to come by 4 or 5 times because people were coming up to him wanting pictures and his autograph, and he was just sitting in the crowd. So, he's world famous, man. He's, I think he's leaving out to go on a trip to Paris. He's fought internationally. So, I mean, he has lived the dream of what I call the tough man, because the way the tough man works is depending on the state. Of course, you can't have any previous fighting experience, but if you win 3 tough man's contests in a single state, you can't fight anymore. You have to turn professional. So that's what Eric did. That's why he became the king of the 4 rounders. He won 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it was in Alabama, and he turned professional and took it to the next level. He fought Larry Holmes in his last professional fight. He was at WrestleMania 14 when Vince McMahon came up with that crazy idea of letting the guys fight, and it ended up being Bart Gunn, and he knocked the Jesus out of Bart at WrestleMania 14. He beat the brakes off of Johnny Knoxville. But you can go on to YouTube and watch Butterbean's fights, man. He's went over into the MMA world over in Japan and stuff like that. So he told me his approach was, I said, why do you always like the short fights? He said, because in his opinion, fighting is either you get knocked out or you knock somebody out. That was always his approach. So, he's there as our front guys, we call it, as our partner, and he's on all the posters, and he couldn't be a better business partner with us.
Well, Bill, as always, I enjoy when you come on the show and you bless us with all this information about the Roughest, Toughest Brawl. We have a great laugh and all that good stuff there. In fact, Bill, definitely going to have you come back sometime to shoot the breeze about some other topics as well, because I know that you're a guy who's always on the go, which means you're always in the know. So I want to get your commitment right now, putting you on the spot. Will you come back here on Duke Loves Rasslin to shoot the breeze about other things?
Oh, 100%, man. You know, again, I appreciate you, man, more than you can ever imagine, you know, because, for the size of the audience that you have, you know, you're one of the top, podcasts in the world, period, hands down, the end. And, to, you know, roll the red carpet out for us, man, I can't thank you enough. So at any time you want me to come on and discuss anything, because again, you know, I've, been involved in the world of announcing for 24 years on the pro wrestling level, MMA cage fighting level, the tough man level, the boxing level. So, you know, I've worked with some really famous people and heard some good and heard some bad and heard some indifferent and seen some good, seen some bad and seen some indifferent. So I'd love to come back and talk about anything because, you know, one of the things that's hot right now are conventions, you know, wrestling conventions. Along with Comic-Cons and things like that, the fans are able to get up close. I think that's what the draw for us about Eric is, you know, for 2 hours before the fights start. He's there at his table and stuff. So when you go to these wrestling conventions and things, the fans get to dress up in cosplay and be former wrestlers. So, you know, I've gotten involved in that. So I'd love to talk about that. But, Duke, we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. And if I ain't heard about it, I'll just make up a bunch of shit. No, I'm just joking. So, love to come back on. You know, it just makes my day, you know, to come on here and talk to the people about what we're going on and, you know, give the fans a little bit of entertainment value from, you know, my 24 years of experience.
Strictly for the culture every day. Step in style in your unique way. Patterns and colors so divine. All about the perfect line. Be yourself, let your spirit fly. In this fashion, you'll touch the sky. Strictly for the culture, brand so fine. Dress to impress and show your shine. Strictly for the culture, every day. Step in style in your unique way.
Visit www.strictlyfortheculture.ca.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.